You know, every now and then, a single football match gives you a story that's just too good to be true. A story about what's expected versus what actually happens. A story about momentum, belief, and moments that just defy all explanation. Well, this is one of those matches. Just think about this for a second. You have the first place team playing the last place team, a 48-point gulf between them. And after an hour, the leaders are cruising, 2 goals to the good. The script's written, right? Game over. But in football, the story is never, ever finished until that final whistle blows. All right, so to really, truly appreciate the absolute drama that was about to unfold, you first have to understand just how lopsided this whole thing looked on paper. I mean, just look at this. It's not just top versus bottom. It's a team with 58 points, gunning for the title, against a team with only 10, just fighting to stay alive. This was, by every possible definition, a complete David versus Goliath situation. And for the first hour of the game, well, the story went exactly how everyone on the planet thought it would. The title contenders showed up, and they absolutely ran the show. They got started early, too. Only 5 minutes in, Bukayo Saka finally breaks this really frustrating 15-game streak without a goal. You could feel the relief. Then, not long into the second half, Piero Hincapie gets his first ever goal for the club. So at 2-0, everything is going perfectly to plan for Arsenal. So, okay, picture it. There's about a third of the game left to play. The result feels like a foregone conclusion. Another 3 points in the bag for Arsenal's title charge, and just another rough day at the office for a struggling Wolves team. But then, something happened. Something shifted. You could almost feel the air change inside the stadium. The entire flow of the game, which had been a one-way street, just suddenly slammed into reverse. And this one line right here from the BBC's analysis after the game, it's the key to everything. At 2-0 down, with absolutely nothing left to lose, all the pressure on Wolves just evaporated. And in that freedom, that's when they started to fight back. And that spark came just 5 minutes after Arsenal thought they'd sealed the deal. Hugo Bueno gets the ball and just unleashes this absolutely stunning curling shot. His manager kept it simple, just called it a lovely finish. But it wasn't just a goal, you know? It was a message. All of a sudden, there was a little bit of hope. Now, a comeback always needs a spark, that's for sure. But a truly legendary comeback, that needs a hero. And in this story, the hero was the one person nobody, and I mean nobody, could have seen coming. 19, that's it. That's the age of the player the Wolves manager decided to send on for his senior football debut. Into this pressure cooker of a Premier League match steps a substitute named Tom Edozie. Can you even imagine that? You're 19 years old, you're making your debut against the best team in the league, and your manager pulls you close and says this to you. This could be your moment now, mate. Go and make it happen. Talk about pressure. Okay, so fast forward, we are in the dying seconds of the game. The clock's past 90 minutes, we're deep into the 4th minute of injury time. This is it, this is the last roll of the dice. And he does it! It's chaos in the box, the ball's bouncing around, and it falls to Edozie. He hits it, it takes a deflection, and it's in the back of the net. The place just erupts. The kid, on his debut, has scored the equalizer with basically the last kick of the game. And you can just hear the sheer wonder in his voice when he says, playing football as a kid, you dream of things like this. What an absolutely incredible, unbelievable moment. So the final whistle blows, it's a 2-2 draw. But, you know, a draw can feel very, very different depending on which dressing room you're in. For one team, it was a total collapse. For the other, it felt like one of the biggest wins of the season. So first, let's go to the Arsenal side. Bukayo Saka, who actually scored the first goal, said the feeling was just very flat. For the league leaders, letting a 2-goal lead slip away against the bottom team, yeah, that felt like a huge loss. And then you have the complete opposite. Just listen to the pure joy from Wolves' Hugo Bueno. For a team that had been struggling so badly, to fight back like that against the very best, that was a massive achievement. It really was a good night for everyone. And you've got to understand how significant this collapse was. This wasn't something that happens to this Arsenal team. It was the first time in almost 3 years that they'd been 2 goals up in a game away from home and didn't win. It felt like a real crack in the armor of the title favorites. And here's why it all matters so much. Look at the table. For Wolves, that 1 point is a massive beacon of hope in what's been a really tough season. But for Arsenal, those 2 points they dropped, well, it cuts their lead over Man City to just 5 points. Suddenly, that title race is looking wide open all over again. So it all leaves us with one big question, doesn't it? For Arsenal, was this the night that the title slipped through their fingers? Or for Wolves, was this just a legendary, unforgettable moment of pure defiance against all the odds? Two completely different sides of the exact same story, all written in 94 minutes of unbelievable drama.